Hello friends! Welcome back to Health Highlights, where I spend the time learning about all things health and bring you the highlights. In part 1, we reviewed the aging process and how skipping meals can help activate the 3 longevity mechanisms in our bodies to help us live longer, healthier. If you missed it, watch part 1 to discover how to get more sirtuins, less mTOR, and more AMPK. Today in part 2, we will learn the things we can do to slow the aging processes in our bodies. First, let's discuss part of the aging process. There are 2 types of information in the body that we get from our parents. We have the genome, our DNA, then there are chemicals and proteins that stick to the DNA that control how the DNA is turned on and off. We need to turn DNA on and off because a skin cell needs to be different from a brain cell. This pattern is laid down when we are developing. This pattern also changes in response to how we live. When we exercise and fast, these chemicals that control the genes change in a semi-permanent way. This is called the epigenome. An analogy would be the digital information on a CD is the genome, and the reader that reads the different songs is the epigenome. Every cell will have a different number of songs and patterns. Aging is the equivalent of scratches on the CD that causes the music to skip. The reprogramming, or age reversal, is the polishing of these scratches so the music can be read again. In between, there's the slowing of scratches with things like exercise, eating less, and supplements that will slow down the scratching process and give time for the aging reversal process to catch up. Now let's dive in deeper to the things we can do to slow these scratches, starting with eating healthy, roughly a Mediterranean diet. Your food should look more like a rabbit's dinner than a lion's meal. Fish, chicken, rarely red meat, and a little of it when you do eat it. Science shows people who consume plant-based diets with olive oil and small amounts of red wine live the longest. Less mTOR is one reason for this, but if you have less sugars in your body, AMPK and sirtuins will be activated as well. Limit sugar and processed carbs. You don't want blood sugar spikes. They are bad and will shut down our defenses. Olive oil activates sirtuins, which is a good thing. Next, keeping your body in good shape with exercise is important. Running for 10 minutes every couple of days at a minimum is needed. Lose your breath. At least go for a walk. Build up muscle strength to help hormones as well as your ability to survive a fall. In the US, every 19 seconds someone falls and doesn't survive. Falls are worse than cancer for longevity. If you don't walk or move, you are in big trouble when you get older. Optimal is unknown. Losing your breath is important though. High intensity exercise. You don't need a lot. As stated, 10 minutes a few times a week appears to be sufficient to give you the longer term health benefits. Old muscle starts to think it doesn't have enough oxygen, even though there is enough oxygen, and it shuts itself down and doesn't make a lot of energy. Blood vessels start to be depleted. It's a terrible feed-forward process after that. By making your body hypoxic and giving it a stress, you could actually do excess oxygen or lack of oxygen. You just want to shock the system. Then your body gets to reset. One of the most popular things to do in the longevity world is hyperbaric oxygen chambers, which helps to reset the body. Lift weights. Use a standing desk. This helps build muscles and is important since people start losing 1% of muscle mass per year at the age of 30. Testosterone comes from having large muscles. Keep your testosterone up by keeping your muscle mass up. Sarcopenia, or loss of muscle mass or muscle function, is a problem as we get older. But how much protein do we need to keep this muscle? Aren't we supposed to limit protein for longevity? Dr. David Sinclair says he doesn't recommend limiting protein. He gets plenty of protein, just mainly from plant-based sources, where there aren't a lot of branched-chain amino acids. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine are the amino acids that activate mTOR. They are found in meat. Focus on plants, you will have enough protein to build muscle. It is a fallacy that you need to eat protein shakes and meat to build muscle. If you want to be a bodybuilder, yes, eat more meat. But for most of us that want to feel good, look good, and live longer, what Dr. David Sinclair recommends doesn't affect your ability to do those things and build up muscle one bit. Being older is also not a hindrance to building muscle. Dr. Sinclair's 82-year-old father has built up a lot of muscle, going to the gym 2 times a week, running, hiking, and is stronger than Dr. Sinclair. He says he hasn't felt this good since his 30s. It is not inevitable that you get slower, more tired, and your memory goes as we get older. It does not have to happen. Make sure you sleep well. If you don't, you will age faster. If sleep is disrupted, you disrupt your body's ability to repair itself. As you get older, our lack of SIRT1, often due to obesity and lack of exercise, will make it harder to sleep normally. Exercise and diet helps people sleep better. You can wear blue light blocking glasses to help sleep better, and don't stress late at night reading emails, for example. We need to learn to cope with stress. Stress makes you age faster. Dr. Sinclair states he consciously picks to be happy when he wakes up in the morning. He is excited about what he does. He says if you aren't happy, find a purpose and realize life is here to be enjoyed. It is a blessing. We don't get many days. Focus on the positive. It doesn't come naturally to most of us, including Dr. Sinclair. Loneliness will make you age faster. People who have a partner that cared for them deeply live longer. Enjoy pets. Get in touch with people online. Find a partner if you don't have one. Find a job that you have purpose in. Don't fall into the isolated trap. Get out there, find friends, connect with people. Loneliness is very dangerous long term. Hot and cold therapy can help with longevity. The more times you go into a sauna a week, the less risk of heart attack and cardiovascular disease you have. Raising surface temperature and lung temperature of your body may induce hormesis. Remember from part 1 that hormesis is where the body undergoes some sort of stressor that makes it stronger. Heat shock proteins that come on with heat can extend lifespan in animals. Not as much is known about cold therapy. It does induce brown fat. Brown fat is very healthy metabolically. It burns energy, has lots of mitochondria, and secretes little molecules in the bloodstream that helps the rest of the body. Cold therapy is thought to induce hormesis. SIRT number 3 is induced dramatically by cold. This is more evidence that putting your body in adverse conditions, the way we used to live before we had AC and heating, can really be beneficial. Hot and cold therapy can help the immune system and fight off infection, ultimately helping longevity. Back in the 2000s, it was discovered that polyphenols, or plant molecules, extended lifespan. This is done through xenohormesis. Xeno meaning from other species. Hormesis, meaning what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When we eat plants that make these molecules, when they are stressed out, don't get enough water or too much sunlight, get eaten by bugs, they make these molecules to survive. Then we ingest them, and we get the signal that our food supply might run out, and then our bodies get the benefits as well. This is why organic food that doesn't have pesticides have to work harder to survive, so we get more of these molecules. Also, eating locally or growing your own food is good. Olive oil has polyphenols in it that activate sirtuins. Resveratrol is a plant molecule that comes mostly from red wine. Olive oil and resveratrol are activating the longevity enzyme directly by binding to it, making it work better. Resveratrol needs to be taken as a supplement. Otherwise, you would need to drink 300 glasses of red wine per day to get the amount needed. Other polyphenols Dr. Sinclair takes as supplements are quercetin and fisetin. He takes these in the morning and mixes their powder form in a little bit of olive oil. They need fat to be absorbed by the body. Dr. Sinclair also takes 1 gram of NMN in the morning, which is water soluble. NMN is a precursor to NAD, which boosts sirtuins. It can boost the body's ability to make new blood vessels and restore the body's ability to measure oxygen in muscle. When given to mice, they were able to run 50% further without having trained. The mice that were young, exercised, and got NMN were able to run twice as far. Does it improve endurance levels in humans? We don't know yet. Studies are happening now. Dr. Sinclair's good friend used NMN and resveratrol, and every year got faster and faster racing in marathons. He is in his 50s. He started out middle of the road and is now the champion in his age group. Metformin will boost AMPK. Metformin is a prescription only in some countries, not most of the world though, and some people are taking it for longevity. not diabetes like it is prescribed for to lower blood sugar. Take it as a preventive measure. Tens of thousands of people have been looked at, and it was found that people taking metformin daily have longer, lower risk of other diseases like cancer, heart disease, Alzheimer's, frailty, and they have longer lives than those who don't take the drug or don't have diabetes. Metformin makes us more sensitive to insulin, which is one way it works for delaying the aging process. One paper showed that metformin helps our gut microbiome to be healthy. Our gut microbiome is very important with aging. Studies in fish and mice show that if you transfer young microbiota into older animals, they will live longer. Microbiomes change with age. Another way to optimize your microbiome is the way you eat. The more diverse your diet, the more diverse and healthy your microbiome will be. Also, metformin interferes with mitochondria. It slightly inhibits the energy production in the body, and as a result, the body overreacts and makes more mitochondria to make more energy. A little bit of hormesis gives a protective response. A slight downside to metformin is that right after taking it, you may feel a little bit weaker. You may do 1 to 2 fewer reps with exercise. You can try harder or take it after you work out. Dr. Sinclair takes metformin at night every other day. He thinks that most people over the age of 40 should be taking metformin. It is cheap and safe. Some people have a problem that can happen in the stomach, but it is reversible, and they just need to stop taking it. You take it under a doctor's supervision anyway. Dr. Sinclair would give it to people that don't yet have type 2 diabetes. Dr. Sinclair wants to prevent disease, not wait until you have the disease. Some consumers may need to take things into their own hands and work with doctors who will prescribe them these medications. Maybe you can't wait for the doctors to catch up with the research. The drug rapamycin is used for immunosuppression, but in low doses inhibits mTOR expression and extends the lifespan of just about every organism it is fed to. Some people take it for longevity. Dr. Sinclair switched his supplement from fish oil to one with more oleic acid. Oleic acid activates SIRT1 and is found in olive oil and avocados. If David Sinclair needs help sleeping, he takes L-theanine and melatonin. He states mice sleep better with NMN and resveratrol. If you are interested in learning more, you can get Dr. Sinclair's book, Lifespan, Why We Age and Why We Don't Have to. I will include a link in the description bar below. Thank you for coming along on our health journey together. I hope Part 2 provided some insight into what you can do to help slow the aging process and live longer, healthier. In Part 3, we will learn about age reversal. Yes, Dr. Sinclair is studying how to actually reverse our age. Let me know in the comments what you like to do to slow the aging process. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any health highlights. Until next time, here's to health.